Hey everyone, welcome to another episode on the Stories of a Dandelion podcast. Today, we have my oldest guy friend, Grayson. In today's episode, he talks about how seeking gratification through others never made him happy, and how he realized that you can't live for anyone but yourself. This is his Dandelion story. These episodes are intended for mature audiences. Viewer and listener discretion advised. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode, season 2. And today I am here with probably, I'm going to say, my longest guy friend that I've ever had. Like, me and Grayson have known each other since we were in elementary school, I think first grade or second grade, whenever that was. And he's still here. He's still around. It's crazy to reconnect with you, man. I am so happy to have you on this podcast.
Thank you.
Honestly, when you said yes, I was like, yes, like I get to reconnect with one of my longest friends and it feels amazing to do so. So thank you for being on and welcome to the podcast.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to. Once you invited me, I was so stoked to hear about it. And I was just like, absolutely. It'd be so fun to reconnect and to see all the other people you've had on here too. It's been so cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So First question that I ask everybody, if you're 18 and you're graduating this year, what advice would you give yourself?
I had two things. I'm saying, to always stay true to yourself, learn to think for yourself and, do follow your heart. And a lot of people have always talked about that. And that's really a big thing. When I think about it and look back, that's one of the biggest things that I definitely would tell myself, given like how I went through those times. And, also is money management, like we were talking about. So I think to learn to manage your money too, we're not taught that a lot. A lot of parents can be a part of that. But if you haven't, if your parents haven't taught you that, then I think that's a huge thing, especially for me when I was growing up, especially when I was younger and, introduced to a credit card and stuff,
Yeah.
It can get pretty out of hand pretty easy. So and I think society they want you to be in debt. So, I think if you learn to manage your money a lot more and learn about, investing and gaining assets and different things like that, then you'd be a lot more well off. So,
yeah, that's some good advice. Young people out there, for real, learn how to manage your money early and be yourself, be who you're truly meant to be. So tell me about your life, Grayson. How did you become who you are from, time you were born to right now sitting with me?
It's crazy. It's a long story. I'll tell you that. It's a lot, growing up as a military kid, my mom, I owe everything to her. She gave me the life that I get, especially all my other family as well. But born in California, started moving around early on, because someone in the military, they don't get to choose where they live and they're moving everywhere. Yeah. So as soon as we were out of California, we were there for a little bit and moved to Texas and I think back to California. And then once that was off, then off to Europe, off to the races of life, we went out there and, I imagine like my mom being a single parent with this kid just moving to this foreign country and they doesn't know a lick of the language and just moving there. Luckily she had the military base, but it's just crazy. I always commemorate her on that because it's a pretty crazy experience and going through that. So, we just moved out there, grew up there for like 8 or 9 years. I bounced back, back and forth. I think that was what really molded me into who I was, just moving back with my grandma and my family from Washington, which is in the US. And so I'd travel back and forth all the time. And so, it did kind of suck because, every year I'd make new friends or make a bunch of friends and then just have to move.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of military kids go through that. And obviously when I was moving around when I was really young, that didn't really matter because, that doesn't really affect you as much as when you're older. But I'd move around a lot in the US and then move back to Belgium every other year or I always move for the summer too. You remember that. I'd always be gone for the summer. So I'd go visit my family, stay with my grandma. And, she did a lot of raising, as well as my mom and my grandma's whole side of the family. So my dad died at an early age. So, she had a lot of shoes to fill. And so that's what ultimately why I think I went there a lot as well, to be with my family, because my dad passed away. And so my mom wanted me to be with them a lot. And then, and obviously she was focusing on her career and working in Belgium and all her military trainings and whatnot. And that's just hard to juggle both. So I think that was the easiest thing for her, was to send me off and live with my family there. And so, and I love coming back and forth all the time. It kind of got to me sometimes, just cause, but I look forward to it next year, is like coming back to see my friends. It just made it that much more of a better experience, or, much more to like look forward to.
Yeah.
So, grew up there until about, what were we saying, like 8th grade, I think is when I left.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. I left 8th grade, and then we moved basically, we had a choice and we chose Utah. And so once my mom was done, we left Belgium, we moved to Utah. And, long story short, I was there for almost 10 years. I went through all of high school, all of college, got my 4 years, got a degree. And then I was, lived there for, another like year or two. Then I started bouncing around, just finding out about myself and just, experiencing life. I lived in, my aunt, had a big, a cancer scare. She had breast cancer. And so I ended up leaving Utah and moving to Seattle, to stay with them and help them out just in case of anything. Yeah. They were going through a lot. And so I moved there just because that was right the first year after COVID. And so, during that time, I had nothing really going for me at that point. I was like, this is, I think, what I need to do. Yeah. It's just kind of a calling. And so I moved there and, started life up there. And I thought I was going to stay there for a while until, I met my girlfriend. And once that happened, we were long distance for a while. And, I think you only go so long. A long distance always makes you like grow fonder of each other. But once we got together, then we just started experiencing life together. So we moved to Arkansas and then Alabama and then back to Utah. So after we were done there, we moved back to Utah just to like settle. We thought we really enjoy it and be around all my friends that I grew up with. And then pretty much like we were saying before, it just got too tough financially and we just couldn't get ahead. And, I think all throughout those times, I was just doing different jobs. I was in and out. Unfortunately, I never really like stuck along with my degree just because I just, like I was telling you before, like if I told myself earlier to stay true to yourself and do what you wanted to do, I think I was just doing something like I just chose something and stuck with it. And it's not something that I really wanted to do. But I was already so like into it that I just didn't want to either restart or just go along with it. Yeah. And throughout the like couple years in, I just realized like, oh man, I don't know if I really want to do this anymore, but I just didn't want to change. So I stuck with it. But throughout this time, I was doing a bunch of different things. I was in the service business for a while, like bartending. I got into computer science. I did a boot camp and got my certification for like software engineering. Okay. I did that for like a year. And then, I worked in construction for a while. I was just bouncing around, just trying to, I think as every, people in their 20s, what they're trying to do, unless you're in a full-time career already. Yeah. But I was just trying to find out who I was and find myself and just finding something that I really enjoy to do. And, but I've enjoyed every job I ever done. So it was kind of tough. So I was like, I really just need to find something that I can land in a career in and, build a life around. So ultimately that's kind of why we moved back to California, because obviously both our families are here. And so I'm going to be going for work as a firefighter for CAL FIRE out here. So that's pretty much why we moved back. It's a big opportunity for me. And, we have our both families here now, so we can, go to those next process, building a family and, being able to, build some roots somewhere. So I think it's a lot better when you have like your support system of your family and stuff. Yeah. Just me and my girl in Utah and just with our friends, like you didn't have everyone that lived there had all their family there and all that stuff. And we were missing out on that. So it'd be so hard to, go through this life without a support system like that. So yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that's where we're at now. We end up going through, obviously there's, tons of more info and details, but now we're just we live up in the mountains in Northern California and we're just loving our life now and just getting life started again. It's a little late, but I don't think it's never too late to, start your life or start a new career. So
yeah, we're still in our 20s. It's a good place to just explore and see where you go and see where you land and what you
Yeah.
like and don't like. Like that's what they say your 20s are for. So one second,
Exactly.
Grayson.
Exactly. Those
But yeah, like
are,
that's like it's weird because like we were told or like the life that we saw growing up was like us watching our parents like start this beautiful life in their career in their 20s. And then like here we are in our 20s and we have no idea what we want to do. We
yeah.
do know one thing: military is not it, but
Mhm.
we just can't
That's
figure out
true.
what's next. And
Yeah.
like, have you ever felt like you were just a little behind because of that? Like, have you ever
Oh, for
compared yourself
sure.
to your mom?
Yeah. I definitely fell behind a lot. I'm like, oh, I should be in a career by now.
Mm-hmm.
I should have a house by now. I should have a kid by now. Like, but I think that's just societal norms. Like that's just
Yeah.
norms or like what society is. And so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. You don't have to be at that point. You know what I'm
No.
saying? And I always
Yeah.
thought that was, and until I started to realize and kind of, start thinking more for myself. And, I think, yeah, that's true. I did feel behind at times,
Mm-hmm.
but that's just because, I thought like, I was questioning a lot of stuff I was doing. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know what I was doing too. I was just unaware. I didn't have any answers yet. I was just still coasting through life trying to figure out what I wanted to do or
Yeah.
that's that's the underlying question that we all, you can do
Yeah.
with your life. And it's
Exactly.
a tough
What's
thing. A
next?
lot of people, yeah. And a lot of people still don't know.
Yeah.
We just fall into like some job and then you just build up your way through it. And then,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but there are some people that do like nursing or something. Some people, they know exactly what they want to do and they do it. So, you know,
It just all depends on where you land.
yeah. Yeah.
So what made you choose to be a firefighter? Like after everything that you did before that, like what made you want to do that?
Mm. Well, for one, here in California, they're treated like royalty. That's a big thing. But I think it's just, for one, it's good money. It's a great career. We're in a small town here, so it's like you don't have a lot going for you.
Mm-hmm.
So moving here, I was like, I've always thought about that because it kind of fits a lot of things. Like you're outside a lot. It's very physical. You're helping people, and that fits all the bills that I've wanted to always do. Because I've always thought about being like in the medical field somehow or some way, and so I think I just love being outdoors and the physical side of it. We're doing a lot of forestry stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just a very exciting and rewarding job, I think. And along with the reward side, I mean, they get paid very well out here. It's a great retirement setup, great benefits. So I think its biggest thing is it's going to set up me and my family, very well. So,
Yeah. True.
and it's a big thing out there, and it's just a big thing going for me, with not having like such a background,
Yeah.
to get somewhere else. Like if you ever wanted to get any other big careers, like, you'd either have to restart or go back to school or get a different degree or something. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I just, I think that's ultimately why, we moved back here was for that. And, yeah, it just seems really cool. It seems something that, yeah, I'd really love to do. And, yeah.
I mean, you already have the stash, so like you're one step closer.
I know, but hey, man, I've been rocking this for even before I was choosing to be a firefighter. I promise I did. Even when you said the Justin Bieber haircut that I had, I promise
Yep.
I had that hair before I even knew who he was.
You did.
I
You did. You
swear.
always had the hair.
I really did. And then he just got popular, and everyone's like, "Oh, why you got his haircut?" I'm like, bro, I had that.
It's so true.
But
Oh my goodness.
this is all I got. I don't got anything else, so I have to do what I have to do. I can't grow anything else, man. So, I got to pose the mustache. So my girl likes it too. So,
Oh, that's good. That's good. So, like, do you think the military kind of prepared you for like what's coming next with the fire, like being a firefighter, like just living that, I guess, because you moved a lot, so living that consistent, like something's happening at all times type of lifestyle. Do you feel like
Yeah.
it prepared you for that?
Oh yeah, there's definitely a correlation there. Yeah, always being on your toes, like always being ready for the next thing. Embracing change. That's a
Yep.
big thing because in the fire, it's just quick. It's always quick. Fight or flight. There's always going to be change. There's always stuff coming. It's a very high, high stressful environment. at times. And so, I think I totally would agree to that. There's some correlation to that for sure. A lot of those things kind of set you up for life because you can, just the way you look at it, going through all those different types of things. That's why I think I've always never had a problem with either talking to people or making friends or just changing, because we've been doing that our whole lives. Moving, I was always down to move all the time, and we always did. I could care less moving everywhere, and I think that's kind of what the military brought, because, that's all we did. So you just get used to it, and you just learn to embrace it over time. You just kind of look at the good in things. Yeah. Kind of outweighs the bad.
That's true.
Yeah.
So it's mentally taxing as well, right? Yeah. So do you already have things in place? Because you've been through a lot, childhood, you lost your father, and then moving back and forth and moving around. How did you deal with that mentally? And is using those techniques that you have going to help you with what you're going to be doing next?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think the biggest thing that comes to my mind is just having a very positive attitude, being super optimistic and just always seeing the good in things. I think that is one of the biggest things I did growing up. And, because it got to me sometimes, but most of the time I just saw the good in things. I always did. Yeah. I always saw what are the good things? What are the benefits and the positives of what we're doing, like moving or different things like that, meeting new friends and and yeah, it's sad. It hits you sometimes differently. Like it makes you sad to think and it makes you miss and reminisce on stuff. But yeah, if you just think about the good times, then you can just carry on through life like that. Yeah. And I think that goes to show the same thing for wanting to be a firefighter. You never want to focus on the bad. You always want to focus on the good and the next step and I think a big thing too is communication and different things like that I've learned, all these big skills that I've learned over the years can all correlate with that as well. It's just something simple, just like that. I think that what we've all gone through, we all share the similar type of experience.
Yeah.
And I think having that community or having those friends and everything, that was a huge thing, I think.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing in my mind. I think family too, obviously, but the biggest thing in my mind moving back was I get to see all my friends again. I get to see Vincent. I get to see Gina. I get to see all my neighbors. I get to see all of them again. I'm super excited to see them all, right? Yeah. That was the biggest thing. I think that's a lot for a lot of kids growing up. Their friends and their friends and their support system is a big thing. And so, yeah, I couldn't imagine doing that, being alone or not having friends.
Yeah.
Going through that, you just dig yourself a deeper hole but I know people go through that. And I think that's one of the biggest things you can have is a friendship or a support system.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember because as we talk, I just every time I just think about us being at SAS, I think about if either of us got bad news, we were always just there for each other and supporting one another. And I just remember you always coming back, and it'd just be so random because I would never know.
No one ever knew when I came back.
In the first day of school, it'd be I'm hold on, didn't you just? What
You're
is happening?
Oh, what? I would, because I would come back a week or two before school.
Yeah, you would just pop up, and I'd be hold on.
You're what? Grayson's back? That's so funny.
Every single time, I'd be yo, it's the ghost of Christmas past, my guy.
I know. Yo, I remember that made me think about times I would come and my mom would drop me off at SAS or or the other places, and I would just walk in and be "What's up?" And everyone's what? I'd be gone for a year.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
This kid's back.
I know. It was crazy to think about that, man. Going through that, but it wasn't. I never saw it. I never thought anything bad about it.
Yeah, neither did any of us. Every time you came back, it was a good time every single time.
Yeah, I don't think it really just – I think the only thing I ever did was just miss my family, miss my friends and just the life I had there. But then you come back and you're experiencing the same thing.
Basically,
just in a whole different environment or atmosphere or a different country, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly. I think I'm super fortunate to have that experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think we all are.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people even leave the state they've born in, you know, or even leave the U.S. So I think we're all super fortunate to have that because it molded us into the people we are today, personality wise, and like, you know,
it
being
really
able
did.
to talk to people and, you know, having a good attitude and stuff like that.
Yeah. So your mom's still your best friend?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I guess, I don't know. I love her to death, but we're not like I wouldn't say like best friends, but I guess as you got older, you know, you have to leave the womb eventually, and so ever since like college, you know, it's just going on being your life. But yeah, I love my mom to death, and it's cool. It's cool being back here because we're a lot closer now. We're only 10 minutes drive, you know, instead of being
awesome.
a plane ride away. So. No, my lady is my best friend now, you know.
Oh, that's cute.
My mom always has a special place in my heart.
Oh, trying to get those brownie points on the podcast. I know.
Well, of course. She'll probably listen to this.
No, I completely understand that. Like us both being like raised by single moms, I think that's the first thing that brought us together as friends. Like your mom is your best friend for a very long time because like it's just you and her, and you grow up quicker and faster and have to learn different things. So for me, being a girl in the house, like I had to grow up fast. But what's the difference of like being a guy? Like, do you feel like you had to do like the man things around the house, being raised in a single household, or was it just kind of growing up fast but still having a part of your childhood?
I think both. Like in my dynamic, like I think both would be an answer to that. Like I did a lot of the stuff, like my mom was always making me do chores and stuff, and I was always doing stuff that like the man would do, probably makes sense. But obviously that a mom being a single mom is going to be super independent too, and they're going to do a lot of stuff too.
Exactly.
But I think it is definitely both. Like it's just both. I did both growing up, and I think it's always been like that. Mm-hmm. And I forgot that your single mom was a single mom too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you just create that bond between each other, and you know, it makes sense. She's raising you, and you have a lot of responsibility and shoes to fill as well as she does. They usually have two shoes to fill, right? So they're going to put a lot of that stuff on you and teach you a lot of these things. And so I always thank my mom for that. You know, like your mom, same thing. Like these strong, independent women that went through this style of life and this experience. You know, with this young kid going into this country that, you know, doesn't speak a lick of French and going through this life. It's crazy to think about. And I always give mad props to my mom for that, because that's just amazing to me. It's such a cool, you know, such a cool thing that someone can do. And it's just, you know, it just shows the type of person she is and type of person your mom is. Yeah. To create, you know, such a, you know, a cool person or a cool daughter. And a cool son, you know, just coming up like that. Like it's really cool. And I'm sure you can totally understand like what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like it's just one of those things that you can really only understand as like being a single parent household child, like especially when you're the only one. A lot of responsibility goes on you, where you learn how to wash your clothes at like 9, or you learn how to like cook like little things at like 10, 11. And then like you're always the one washing the dishes because, hey, look, like they cook. So
yeah, that's what we have to do. Oh yeah, I still be doing dishes. You know,
like it's just like little things. And like growing up for us, I believe like people our age would look at us and be like, man, like they're a lot older, or they seem a lot older, even though we are their age. And I just would remember like growing up, I would have friends my age, but I remember just getting along with like people like older than me, like 2 years older than me, 4 years older than me, like at the same rate that I was getting to know and like getting along with other people my age. And so, like, did you experience that? Like, did you get along better with people who were older than you than your age?
100%. 100%. But you know what's crazy too is like for me, I think it's just my personality. I don't know why, but it's both. Like, I was like getting friends with all the younger guys and younger like for example, when I moved to Utah, I was friends with all the 7th graders as a 9th grader, and then obviously some 9th grade friends too. But like I just had, but as I grew up as the same thing, like I was always I was always friends with like the older kids and made friends with them. That's so totally true. Like we mature at a different rate.
Yeah.
Just because of the way our life and how our stuff was shaped and like our dynamic, right? Like our experiences.
Yeah.
We had, we definitely, I guess depending on the person, and who was raising you, but yeah, you definitely, you just become way more mature and quicker, like you're saying. And yeah, I definitely see myself like always having like older friends.
Yeah.
Just, I think it's just from there. And also I think we just have old souls. Like as in like, we like, we're just more mature. And so you're
Yeah.
like, for example, like I love 80s and 90s music. And I think that's just from like my mom. I like older stuff,
Same.
and so you can just click well with older people because they experience the same thing. And
Exactly.
when you're open your mind up to much more things, then it just makes it easier for you to get along with older people or different things like that, I think. And I was always going places with my mom too, so like I was always meeting her friends and older people. So it just over time, it was just so easy to make acquaintances with people or make friends because it's easy.
Yeah.
But
It's so weird, like now that like we're that age though. Like it's like, oh, we used to be hanging out with people who are like the age we are now.
yeah,
And now
yeah.
you're just like, oh, as a kid I thought they had it all together. I thought they had it all figured out. And here I
Right.
am at like 28 and being like, yeah,
Yeah.
no, we're
Don't
all
worry.
just going through this life confused as heck.
Yep, exactly. For real. Trying to find answers every day.
Exactly.
Going through
Like,
life. But yeah, I had a point and I just forgot it. But yeah.
it's weird.
Seriously.
Like for me, I think about it and I'm like, do I wish that somebody would have told me that I wouldn't have it all figured out by this point, and maybe like it would have put less stress on me, like, earlier?
Yeah.
Or am I just okay where I am now, and I just had to figure out that we're all trying to figure it out together? I
Yeah.
mean, have you
Yeah.
ever felt that, like, been in that moment
Oh,
where like, should
yeah.
somebody have told me this?
Oh, for sure. And I think my family like in Washington for that, and my uncle's like my best friend, and like he'd always tell me, he's like, hey man, it's all good. Like there's no rush. There's no rush in life. And that, just having that like reassurance was just so nice because I needed it. I was stressing myself out so much. Like before we were talking about, I felt so behind and all this different stuff. And it's like, man, and a lot of my other people that I had in my life, like other mentors and just family members and stuff, they'd tell me, it's like, you know what, there's no rush. There's no rush.
Yeah,
And that was huge. That was huge.
that's good. Like,
Yeah. Definitely good, grateful to have that.
that's good. Like, I see, like, it's just like community was around you, like during like every single like one of these things, and I feel like that's a big part of like your way to stay positive. Are there other ways that you use to stay positive and have just a really good mindset going into whatever you're going into?
Yeah. There's a lot of ways, but I think it just always has to be just how, how strong minded you are.
Yeah.
Just always seeing the good, in things and just being optimistic and being positive. Yeah, there's always going to be like bad things and negative things, but it just shows how you handle them. It's just going to be like, and I think that attributes to, the way I was brought up and the way I was raised and the experiences we had growing up and whatnot. And I just think it makes all of us like strong-minded people, individuals, and just from, going through these parts of life that not a lot of people get to experience.
That's
and so,
true.
yeah, I think it just, always like never stop, always learning, just always having an open mind towards things. I think that's one of the biggest things and just having a good attitude, you surround yourself with the right people, you surround yourself with the people that, that you want to be around, and that directly reflects who you are, right? The people you surround yourself with. So, and like just the choices you make, and whether it be in life or with anything, with your hobbies, your activities, whatever you're doing. And so I think that that plays a big role too.
Hey guys, I wanted to take a quick break to ask if you are enjoying this episode. Go ahead and follow us on Stories of a Dandelion right here on Spotify or wherever you're getting your podcast, as well as follow us on all of our social media accounts. Let's create this community full of military brats who feel that they're okay with opening up about their mental health, about sharing their journey, what they're going through, and create a place for beautiful healing through stories. So again, please go ahead and follow us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, as well as all of the social media accounts. Now let's get back to today's episode. So tell me about, because you said growing up that you felt like you weren't being who you felt you should be. So, and you're trying to fit in. So talk to the kid that's trying to fit in, who should be just being themselves, going to school.
Yeah.
And you know, at our school, we didn't really have bullying. So like everybody had a place to be.
Yeah.
And it may not be that way everywhere, but talk to the kid that needs to know that who they are is okay and that they don't have to fit in, because once you get out in this world, there's really no place for like a one place for you to be in or one clique for you to be in. There's so many different avenues that you can take as a person. So talk to that kid, like let them know it's okay. Because I know that you would, if somebody was there for both of us, we would probably not have been the people we were in some ways. Mm-hmm. And talk to that kid so that today they can be the person that they want to be and that they know they should be, and be just a little bit ahead of us and have a little bit more of that mental clarity that they need.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I think just when you, like you said, none of that stuff matters as soon as, the real world hits, as I just plain and simple, just like that. Right. Mm-hmm. But what does come from that is like I said before, is like who you surround yourself with and what hobbies and activities you're choosing to do. But yeah, growing up like that, I had this like personality where I was just so influenced by everybody. And like, if I thought one thing was cool, like I immediately wanted to do that. And I wanted to look like them. I wanted their gratification. Like I wanted them to see me, and, I wanted to look cool to them. Right. So I was just constantly always changing, always doing different things, wearing different clothes. I stopped doing the things that I liked. And just to get, the gratification or satisfaction from people that nowadays I probably wouldn't even care what they thought of anyway. Right. Yeah. When I'm older, I think that's a big thing too, is just learning to not care about what others are thinking or think about you. Obviously that's going to be a part of it. That's a big part of it in high school, because we're all developing, we're all learning, we're all getting, our minds are all just being molded every day. So, and if I could take it back, I definitely would. Like, for example, remember I grew up skateboarding my whole life. And so when I moved there, I just like stopped skateboarding, and I just like didn't think it was cool anymore. And because I thought the other people that I wanted to impress didn't think it was cool. And now I look back on it and like, I'm obsessed with it now. Like I picked up skateboarding again, like during COVID, and I love it so much. And I'm like, why did I ever stop? Right. And like, that's ultimately how I came up with the idea of like saying true to yourself, because I stopped doing so many fun things that I loved and enjoyed just to get, some satisfaction, or to impress people that, I cared about so much what they thought of me. And I don't know if that was really like an insecurity, because I never really felt like I felt insecure, but I think all our minds are a lot of us think like that in high school at those times, because there's so much going on, we're getting older, all these hormonal changes, like all these different things are happening. Right. Yeah. And so, when I look back on it, when I'm talking to someone that's in the exact same point as me, I would just say is to learn to gain confidence in yourself, and, surround yourself with the right people. If you're not around the right people, you can change. You can cut people out of your life. And I know it's harder for some people, but it's a process that you just have to learn. And I think people learn that over time. You just go through it. I think just follow your heart, follow what you like, and just not care what other people think of you. Cause that's one of the biggest things, I think, that lets. Nowadays, we're in such a huge, like, influential world with social media and everything, that we're just constantly being influenced all the time, right? Yeah. And so that was my biggest flaw, I think, growing up to those times. I just stopped doing what I like to do, and I think about it now, and I maybe it wasn't too much about the people, but it was more about maybe just me changing, because I think it was just a mental thing. Like I was just always changing stuff. I've never been like diagnosed with like ADHD or like ADD,
Mm-hmm.
but I had some sort of like thing like that. Like I'd be stuck on something for like a year and then I would just drop it and then do something else. Right.
Yeah.
But not something that I love so much. Like, for example, like skateboarding,
Mm-hmm.
which I stopped just because I thought people didn't think it was cool. And I just let those people like govern my life. Right. I was just letting them,
Mm-hmm.
I tried to wear what they were wearing and I was just not being like myself. And, I realized that, from an early stage on in like college and stuff. And so I
Okay. Yeah.
really learned to, I think as you get older, you'll learn that. But if
Yeah.
you can start it you can hit it on from an early age, then that can definitely help you in the long run,
Do you remember the moment that you realized, like, I'm not doing this for myself? Like, I'm doing this for other people. Like,
Yeah.
it's time to change.
Yeah. Like my second year of college, when I was telling you about like my degree and different things like that,
Mm-hmm.
I learned and, I opened up my mind to a lot of things and I just, started thinking for myself a lot more. And I just thought, I just realized a lot of stuff because I was just I just had straight tunnel vision, and
Yeah.
which is fine. It's totally fine to have that and be focused on a goal and stuff like that. But it just went deeper. It was a little deeper than that. Like I had the goal to get a degree and stuff and make my mom happy and different things
Mm-hmm.
like that. And that's ultimately what it always was about. But I never really like when I think about it sometimes, like in all honesty, like, is that really what I wanted to do? Like, was I really doing what I wanted? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
came to those realizations and then it just kind of changed a lot that the way I thought about and stuff, like the way I thought.
Yeah. I completely understand. It was the same for me. Like, college was, and I think like people started asking me like questions like, oh, you don't like this? And I was like, oh, well, I mean, like, I haven't really tried it, but I was told by my mom, like, that wasn't like, it doesn't taste good. So why try it? Like, I would not do certain things for myself just because like
Mm-hmm.
my mom was like, oh, well, I tried it. Like, it's not that great. Like, you probably won't like it either. So instead of me being like, oh, well, I mean, who knows? I might like it. But I think as like also another thing being, kids of single parents, it's just like your mom, you don't think your parents are doing anything wrong and they're not. They're trying to guide you to like have a successful life. But
Yeah.
sometimes you can feel like this pressure of they've done all this for me. So I'm on this path. I'm going to college. I'm doing this and I'm doing that so that one day maybe I can like give back half of what they gave to me. And like
Yeah.
I know
No,
I've felt
100%.
that. Yeah, I felt that pressure on myself. Like it's not even like our moms putting it on us because they
Right.
would just do what they were doing because they love us, but it's us putting it on ourselves because they were like raising us by themselves.
Yeah. I
And
know that's 100%.
exactly,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to finally open like our own eyes, like sometimes it can be. I know it shook up my mom a little bit. She's like, "Oh
Mm-hmm.
snap!" Like, she's changing, and she was cool with it. But like, it was more of like me becoming who I was always meant to be. And so like the normal things that she was used to me doing, like I'm not doing those things anymore sometimes. And she's like, so it's like redefining our relationship. Did that happen with you and your mom when you
Yeah,
realized?
100%. 100%. Yeah. You nailed it. Like exactly. That's exactly what happened. And it's crazy that we went through the exact same thing.
It is
Yeah.
crazy. Like
Literally,
literally just
enough said.
boom.
I the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Especially
And
when I
then,
started, when I gained this whole new perspective on just life. And like you said, it just had this, there was like this underlying pressure all the time
mhm,
weighing on our shoulders, like to do this and, to get the degree and to get a nice job and get all this stuff going. But, and obviously, it's not our parents' fault.
mm-mm,
And, they wanted to raise us and we're trying to show, we're trying to be, a direct reflection of them
yeah.
from them raising us. Right. But yeah, there's this like this pressure that just consciously just is just weighing down on you, not even from them. And they don't even do it. It's just on our
Mm,
own, like our own way, like our own, or it just manifests itself on its own. So
yeah.
it puts it on yourself and it just kind of, yeah. And so once I thought, I started thinking more for myself and like opened my mind up to a lot more things and just thought differently about things and just gained a new perspective. Like I was saying, like, yeah, that a lot of that just kind of just drifted off. And like you said, the relationship changed. Like we were just, it was just us two the whole time. Right. Just like you and your
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
And so when you get older, it gets to that point. You have to, you basically have to leave the womb at some point, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so once that happened, that's when your guys' relationship like was reinforced and changed and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same exact thing that happened with us.
Yeah. Yeah, that turmoil that you have to go through to like get to the
Yeah.
point where like you can have an understanding with one another.
Mhm.
It's so hard, like in
Yeah.
being in those moments. And
Yeah.
I just, you know, and every now and then you still kind of go through it because they're still trying to get used to that new person.
Oh, 100%. The ups and downs are crazy with it.
It is. It's really
Yeah,
crazy.
it
I don't
really
think people
is.
understand that, like with like us as like single parent kids, like and us being the only ones. It's like you don't get it. Like
No, they really don't. And it's a prime example of like my girlfriend, she has 4 sisters, right?
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't understand the relationship that me and my mom have, right? Because she had 4 sisters and a bunch of other siblings too. And like, it's so different. Like the dynamics are just so different. And so, like you said, they don't understand.
No,
it's just how it is. And I have to constantly tell her, I'm like, it's just how it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, I love my mom to death and she changes, she adapts,
Yep.
you know, over time and stuff. And she's, you know, she works on all that shit too. And it's, you know, and she's given me the life that I've given now. And, you know, I'm ultimately always going to be grateful for that, you know, and I over my life. And I know you do that too, because she gave us that life that we have now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, people will never understand. It's like people will look at me and my mom and be like, weren't you guys arguing like a minute ago? Oh yeah, of course.
Yep.
But we always do.
Yeah, I know. And I'm learning stuff too I'm like, wait, why? Like with siblings and stuff too. It's just different.
Yep.
It is just a whole different ballgame.
It is. It is. Same. Cause yeah, my mom or my dad had another daughter. And so like I have my sister and I'm just like, people are like, are you a sibling or are you, I'm both. I'm an only child and a sibling and they're both annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both ways, both annoying. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even mention, but when we were in Utah, my mom did get married and, my stepdad, and I love him to death. And he had 3 kids. And so I kind of learned that dynamic over time being like an older brother. You know, I had 3 younger step siblings. But yeah, it was fun to learn that too, to be involved in that. It was different.
Yeah. It's another dynamic that like is just different. Like, people will look at you and be like, yeah, I understand being an only child, but at the same time, I understand being a sibling. And like, I remember fighting with my sister over like my bedroom and some stupid stuff like that. But then going home and being like, oh, this is my bedroom, easy. Like, no, you know. So it's weird, but it's an awesome thing at the same time. But like I said, still annoying.
Yeah. It goes both ways. I think it goes both ways.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You see the good and bad in both having siblings or being an only child, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But I love my sister. I love my mom. To be in this new, I guess, chapter, because like we're both in a new chapter. You're moved to California. You're about to start like firefighting, and like now I am trying to move my way out of Georgia, but at the same time, who knows? Because everywhere is expensive.
Yeah.
What are you looking at in this next chapter? Like, what are you planning for? Because I usually ask like next 5 years, but we're both in new chapters, so let's focus on that. What are you looking forward to in this new chapter of your life?
I'm just looking forward to like just more of a financial freedom. You know, starting a family. You know, getting to those points in our life, you know, and I think that's such a beautiful thing. And I just look forward to that, you know, and I found the right woman and getting married, getting all that, you know, doing stuff like that, you know, just finally, you know, settling somewhere, establishing some roots and just like, you know, gaining a new career and just like actually, cause like moving around all the time and like doing all this stuff, I always worked somewhere for like maybe a year, never more than a year. Right. And so I would just love to be able to grow and build within a company and actually like, you know, go through those things. And I've always moved or just like, you know, and I've been doing that my whole life, which is crazy. So that's why I'm really excited for that, to like actually be somewhere to, like I said, establish roots and just like hold it down somewhere and start something new. And just, now I get to go, you know, being at 27, I think it's not late. It's never too late. Right. But it's like now I can actually start and do everything that I want to do. And, I've been through all this stuff that, which is every 20-year-old should go through.
Exactly.
And so, and I'm totally fine with that. I had amazing experiences all throughout this life until now. So it's been, now that's what I have looked forward to is, getting all those new chapters, right? Having a kid someday, getting married, building a house, like buying a house or building, going through all those fun things of life that, that would just sound so fun to experience.
You think, because you've traveled so much as a child, like you think you're going to get the itch to travel after you settle down? Like,
oh shoot. Yeah. We're already thinking about going. I want to experience the world again. I haven't been back to Europe since. And so it's like, I want to, right? Yeah, I haven't. I haven't been back since we left in 2010. So 100% I want to. I want to go to Japan. I want to go to Norway. I want to go see, like, Japan is the biggest one. I want to go, but 100%. I got the itch. Hopefully this year, that's one thing I'm looking forward to is just being able to actually do more things. Being able to, establish a career and make good money and then be able to like go travel and do more life experiences like that.
That's good. Do you plan
I want to go to Japan so bad.
Really?
Yeah. It's like
that's so place. Funny. My best friend, before she moved to Belgium, she lived in Japan.
Yeah. That's a big military place out there too.
It is. Also, Manasa went to Japan for a little bit, I think.
I know. Yeah, because he went like the Air Force and stuff, right?
Yeah, he went to Air Force. He went to Japan for a little bit, so that's crazy.
Yeah, we were talking about that, man. I was like, you're so lucky, bro. Like,
man.
You have to live out there.
Go visit him. Y'all go to. I can just see it. I can see a whole.
Oh, dude, it'd be a riot. It would be a riot out there.
Oh my god, I can imagine it right now.
Oh yeah, we had so much fun growing up together. So it's like, oh yeah, it'd be a riot. I hope he sees this, man. If he does, I'm telling you right now, I'm going out there.
I mean, hey, hit him up. Go to Germany. I mean, I know he's ready. Like he's always ready to go somewhere. I think he just went to like London not too long ago. So like he's always be
doing something. He's always doing cool stuff like that. I love that. Yeah. So I think I'll 100% get the itch all the time. Yeah, we want to go to Norway too.
Oh,
yeah. We want to go to like Norway and just back. We want to go to Belgium. We've talked about that ever since we've been together. Like we want to go and I want to show her like where I used to live and show her shape and like they'd be so cool to show her all that stuff.
Yeah, you can show her the new elementary school.
Yeah, like you were saying. Yeah, they redid all that stuff.
Yeah, they tore down our playground. They tore down both schools. I think the cafeteria is still there. I think that's the only thing.
Oh, that cafeteria is so crazy. Just walking to the buses right there. Remember that?
Yes.
All the buses parked on that road right there.
Right there on that road.
So funny.
Used to hate that. I'd be like, or just like waiting for Sass to come pick us up so that we can go.
Yeah, Sass right there too. You just walk across the street, right? See, like that was so fun. Like our parents didn't have to worry about anything. We're on this military base. We can go anywhere we want.
Yeah.
We'd always just go to Sass or straight to the teen center and then go skateboard or do whatever. Like we were always doing something, right? I'll never forget though that cafeteria. I remember my mom. Do you remember when we were all playing basketball? Like the Nike came out with this shoe. It was like crazy. I forgot what it was called, but I had my grandma give me some for Christmas because I wanted them so bad.
Yeah.
And I left them in the cafeteria, and I never found them again. I was so sad. I was so sad. I left them somewhere in there. I carried them on me literally, and I left them in the cafeteria. My mom was so mad.
I know your mom was mad.
I didn't tell her for a long time. Oh, you already know. You know my mom was mad. I didn't tell her for a long time, and then I was like, "You remember those shoes? Yeah, they were so dope."
Oh my goodness!
I was so sad I lost those.
Yeah, the cafeteria is not the place you leave anything. Like it doesn't matter. No. Like somebody's gonna take whatever you leave behind.
Yeah, there's so many. I lost so many teeth in that cafeteria, man. Just growing up, like I'd lose. You know how when your teeth were loose and like you pull it out? Like I pulled out like 2 teeth in that cafeteria. I swear to God.
Oh my goodness!
Every time, there's always something crazy.
Like Grayson, what?
Yeah, just covered a bloody mouth. Like we've all, that cafeteria has seen everything, man. Kids getting sick, throwing up.
It has.
Eating those. Remember those pizza sticks?
Yep.
Remember those days? Oh, that was the best day too. The pizza sticks were the best. Everything else kind of sucked. I won't lie.
Oh, do you remember the brownies with sugar on the bottom?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you remember how we used to like sit there and like steal them from the little kids that used to like?
Yes. I would like try to trade them.
You remember that?
I was always trading
because like they would throw them away. Okay, like listeners, listen.
Let me get that.
Like kids, like they don't understand. Those brownies was so good, and like the little kids were just like, I didn't want them, so like they would walk by. And like our
Yes.
table would be like, hey, give us that brownie.
Yeah, let's get that. Let's get that. You don't want that.
We had
I'll
like
trade
50
you.
of them in the middle by the end of freaking lunch.
Oh my gosh, those were so good. That's so crazy. I forgot about those.
Oh, dude, I miss them.
That's so
I think
crazy.
about them every now and then. I'm like, man, I could really use a brownie like that right now.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking. I'm coming up with shit. Like I'm coming up with more stuff as we go. We're talking. I'm like, oh my god, remember going to the GB and always getting like a fresh baguette,
Yep.
like for like 50 cents. Oh
Yep.
man, it's so fun. It's so fun to think about, man.
It is. It
It
was
was,
crazy.
yeah, we had so much fun there. Just being able to like do whatever we wanted. Like, and our parents didn't have to care. Like they're working, doing their thing, and they know that we're safe because we're on a military base. And like,
Yeah.
you know, we got to just roam around, going to the pizza bowl every day. You know,
Yep.
that was crazy. We went there like every day.
We did. Like,
Every
we were
day.
supposed
You know
to
what's
be at the
crazy?
teen center. I used to get in trouble all the time because like you guys would
Oh,
be like,
yeah.
I don't want to go to the teen center, and I'd be like, but I have to. Like,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
mom
yeah.
will
You have to go like
literally
check
kill
in.
me.
Like,
But every time
no,
I'd be
I'm
at the
trying to go
pizza
to
bowl.
yeah, I'm trying to go to the pizza bowl. And we were always hanging out with the older kids too. They were all there,
Yep.
the older kids,
So
because we all
true.
rode the bus with them. So like we
Yep.
knew them, you
Yep.
know? Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so crazy. Like back then, the Pizza Bowl had everything. It had music. It had like a gaming area, like food.
Yeah. Was it the
had
same when
all.
you left? Like, did they change anything?
When I left, it was under new management.
I wonder if is it still there, you think?
It is. Yeah, it's definitely still there. Like, there's nothing else to do. Like,
Yeah, true.
they
got
need
the movie
something to do.
theater. Yeah, they got the movie theater and the
Yep.
pizza joint and the bowling
Yeah.
alley.
Yeah, the movie theater got upgraded a little bit, just the projector thing, and then the Pizza Bowl. It's different because like they have new management. Like he's very. It wasn't. He's American, so like he's making it very American instead of like having like days off. The days off that they used to have, they don't have them anymore. Because I remember working when he first started it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we don't have today off. Like we're open." And I was like, who's coming in the Pizza Bowl? like nobody used to come in on post. I'm like,
No one's coming in.
Like maybe
Yeah.
like 7 or 8, at tops 10 people came that day, and I was just like, this was a waste.
Nope. Gosh, that is so
he
funny.
doesn't know.
Were you there when, I don't know, but we were all skateboarding. Like it was like me, Justin, a couple other guys. But I broke my wrist at the skate park and I walked. I don't know if you were there for that.
I probably was. I had a crush on Justin back then, so I probably was.
All you guys, everyone was there, right? And I walk into the pizza bowl and I got this broken wrist and like no one knew what to do. And like I just went up to one of the manager guys and I was like, can you call the police or something? I don't know. I didn't have a phone. And so my mom was freaking out, tripping out, and they sent me to the hospital, a broken arm. Oh my gosh, it was so funny.
I do remember you breaking your arm, and like
I had a big old cast.
Yeah, big old cast. All the girls were like, "Grayson, are you okay?" I was like,
"Oh yeah."
I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" I was like, "This is so freaking." I was like, "My best friend every single time."
I was. Oh man, I was a lady killer, man. For real.
You were legit. Like I just remember people coming up to me, be like, "Is Grayson dating somebody?" And I'm just like, I don't know. You gotta ask him.
That's
like,
so bad. That's so bad. That's
but
so
the thing
funny,
is,
man.
like, you weren't like a lady, like you weren't a lady killer. It's just like a lot of like girls liked you, but like you weren't dating any of them.
Exactly. Yeah. I was just hanging out with my friends. Like I didn't care. I was.
Exactly.
I mean, I was like,
No care
I
in the
was
world.
like, you know, yeah, I didn't care. I was just like, okay, whatever. I'm just doing my thing. I kind of did the same thing. Like growing up, like ever since high school and college, like I didn't really like go after anybody or I just kind of stuck to myself and then stuff just happened organically. Right. That's how we met. Like when I met my girlfriend, because I never thought I'd meet someone out here. And then sure enough, we did. And it's like it's like a Hallmark story. It's pretty crazy. But anyway, we met. And
cute.
Yeah, there you go. Rest is history after that.
I know. That's why I said before I met the guy who I'm dating right now, like I literally was like on all the apps and all the stupid stuff. And then like I just decided, like, I was like, I'm not doing any of this. Like I'm done with it. And then I went out to Arizona to visit my god sister. And we met, we clicked, and then it's just like we've been dating.
That's what I'm saying. Rest is history. See, it just happened. A lot of it just manifests on its own. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Just how it is.
It does. It's crazy.
That's right. The less energy you put into it, like I swear, that's just how it happened.
I know, it's so weird. Like I was just like, all right, whatever. Like if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like I think there's so much pressure that we put on it growing up. Like I have to find the person I want to be with, the house, everything, and then like you get to the closer to 30, and you're just like, psh, You know what?
You just don't
If
even
it
care.
happens, it happens. If it doesn't,
No, for real. And I think it's just from the societal norms like that have just
yeah,
been implanted every generation. It's just what it is. Like, oh, you have to have the good job. You have to have the wife, the kid, the house. Like at
yep,
this time, you go to college right after high school, right?
yep,
And then you get into debt, and then it's you go all this stuff,
exactly.
right? And it's like, I mean, that's how it's always been. And like, I started to realize, I was like, oh man, like that's, I just started to realize that that's just what society has in place for us, not like what
Exactly.
really it is, like what reality is.
Yeah, not for you.
So,
You
yeah.
gonna take your kids back to Belgium? Like once you have kids and
Oh, for
stuff,
sure.
or
Yeah. Once we
yeah,
get to that point, yeah, no doubt. Well, I want to go. I want to experience. I want my kids to definitely experience or somewhat sort of like experience the same thing I did. You gotta explore the world with them. It'd be so fun.
exactly. Yeah,
It molds them to like what we are today. And I think that's a huge point in like, a kid's life is to experience that stuff and just get, because it makes them have like an open mind, it makes
yeah,
them, you open their mind up to so much more stuff and it just molds them like, in a whole different way.
yeah. Definitely molded us in a different way. Like the cultures
Yeah.
we got to experience, all that shape, like insane.
Yeah, I for sure. And I think that's why like I love other cultures because of that, right?
Yeah,
Like we got the affordance to grow up with people from everywhere.
yeah,
Spain, Norway, everywhere, all over, Germany, all over the place, right? And so, we were introduced to so many different types of cultures already, just growing up, not even knowing it, not
yep,
even like
exactly,
thinking like anything of it, right?
exactly.
But and so I think that's why like I just have a love for culture in general and just like, all the other ones.
Yeah. All right. Last question. I already said like next chapter, but
Mm-hmm.
where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, what's the 5 year plan? I guess. Do you have one?
Yeah, I think just being in my career, having a great career, having starting a family. My family would be started by then in those 5 years. Definitely married. I'm just very happy living my life with the person I love and just starting to have little homies running around.
Ooh.
Probably two. I think two max. I think I want two kids. So
Okay. Yeah.
we'll see how that goes with my lady. I think she wants more, but
Oh.
maybe we'll start with
Hey,
two.
you gonna have a football team out there?
I know, bro. And that's where I see myself in 5 years. Just settled down, very content with life, and just having a great, waking up every day, enjoying what I do, and having a great support system, family system, having great friends, being very healthy, making good choices, things like that. Seeing the world. Hopefully by then I've been to Japan too.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
won't lie. Yeah. If I haven't been to Japan in the next 5 years, I'm definitely failing. I'll tell
Yeah.
you that right now.
Yeah.
I have failed in those 5 year plan if I have not been to Japan. I'll
Well,
tell you that right now.
y'all heard it here, guys. Grayson will be back, and we will see if he's been to Japan.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. 100%. I'll have pictures. I'll have like, I'll have some stuff. I'll get some gifts or something. I don't know. I'll get
That's
something
awesome.
from there and just
That's
hold it down.
awesome.
So, yeah.
Man, I think it's so funny. Like every time I ask that question, everybody who answers it is like we're all settling down. Like none of us are about like let's travel here, let's go here. Like all of us are like, no, I want to find one spot to just be. And as fun as like the military lifestyle was, even though I grew up in Belgium from kindergarten to until I graduated, but being away from family, it makes that difference. And so us like trying to be like, no, we want to be close to family. We want to settle down. We want to have, our kids here or our house here. So like, it's just absolutely amazing to see like across the board. We're all like, no, we're done.
No, that's 100%. And I think you nailed it. That's exactly why, because we've done that our whole life. And so now we want that
Exactly.
because we didn't get that, growing up. So
Yeah.
I think you're exactly right. That's exactly right.
Settled down with a little bit of travel, of course, still, but
yes, wherever it may be,
exactly. Yeah. Whatever. And it doesn't matter. Like for us, it doesn't matter where we settle down at, we're always going to have our family, but as long as we're settled and we can get to see our family and be around them, that's all that matters.
Yeah. And it makes us definitely more adventurous, to actually want to go do that and explore and go see the world and,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. But Grayson, thank you for being on. This has been awesome. It's been amazing, dude. Love having
Yeah,
you.
this has been
And
awesome.
yeah, next time.
I
Hopefully
know. I
you've been
really
in
appreciate it.
Florida.
I've loved it. Thank you so much for being on your platform and just having me on here. And, you know, I'm looking forward to see who else you have on here.
Hey guys, thank you for tuning in for another episode on the Stories of the Dandelion podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please go and share it with a friend, a colleague, or even a family member. And make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms so you can stay up to date on when the episodes are coming out and what is involved in each episode. Thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you all next Military Brat Monday.